Greetings everyone, please come on to make sure everything's set on up. Microphone's going, looks like things are starting to boot on up. Looks like things sort of boot on up. Now give me one from live chat windows and of course my macros. Those are bigger windows than normal. That's booting on up. That's all booting on up. Macros turned on. Oh, so I realized as well I didn't properly do this side. Use a little extra size. There we go, that should be good. Give me a moment to check my other computer. And looks like everything is good to go. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I realized something as well. There we go. It actually was a little bit overlapped. And there we go. Now everything's good to go. So let's go and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn's south side is a Cobalt Ice Rachel. We got J Lau 170. Or north side as the Pink Cosmos Kindle, we got Milla asterisk dash asterisk. A little bit of a unique interaction here. Of course, if Urban Blight does 3 damage to all units on urbanized property, but of course Rachel can immediately heal that up and back to full health, which means she's going to spend a lot more on repairs, but of course units be less damage, so pick your poison, what's better or worse. Either way, this map is a 3-base map, technically 1 seaport. 2 seaports actually, 1 airport here. Strong side, weak side mechanic. The strong side does have 2 bases, weak side has 1. Airport can support the weak side a little bit better. You can also pull out pipe runner here to help protect your HQ. Not necessarily you will, I'm just saying you can. This map does offer a recon on your opponent's strong side. So it gives you initial scouting, which is very nice to have. And mech is an easy way to clearing up. You can also use artillery. Artillery will still be useful in dealing with the pipe scene while at it. Hit the pipe scene, go to the city, hit the recon, or go to the city, hit the recon, and then hit the pipe scene. Multiple ways you can do it. Got a tank up here. Only a recon down here so far. Rachel does have 13,000. She may be going, nope. Still catching the Air Force, so no battle copter. Artillery, infantry, artillery. Goes for double artillery this turn. Got a tank, infantry, and infantry. So far, Rachel's squad 0 tanks so far, 2 recons, 2 artillery. Over here, we got 1 artillery, 2 tanks, 1 recon. Now, we finally got a tank by Rachel with another pair of infantry. Does clean up the infantry unit there. Thanks to Kindle's plus 40% firepower bonus firing from cities, this artillery fires miniature nuclear weapons, in which they could do the same thing as well to hit this pipe scene from this city or from a base, which is probably not a good idea. But she could travel on this captured lab there and then start shelling the pipe scene. if she so chooses. In this case, Rachel does the same attack here, but got a nice even 5 damage, so either way, it will go down 2 shots. Lots of city capture there, 20,000 versus 18,000. Two tanks, one artillery, got a battle copter now on the field. Rachel, Jenna have been told we don't want to go for an ATR no later than turn 10. Right now it's turn 9, so it'll probably be a good turn to get out ATR. Next turn's probably the latest one to go for an ATR. Or go for your own battlecopter, counter the battlecopter. Recon, infantry, battlecopter, another tank. Artillery shelling the pipe seam from the shoreline. It's a very nice beach, so they can enjoy the beach while shelling the pipe seam there. Gets a booster strike there from the city. Got another tank, anti-air and tank, so turn 10 anti-air. And the battlecopter's heading over to the weak side, anti-air's headed down the strong side, so Kindle has anti-air on both sides, or anti-aircraft on both sides, I should say. Tanks, artillery forward, battlecopter advancing over here. Rachel has 20,000 monies, goes for battlecopter, tank. Gets a hit down the infantry, capture the column tower. Kindle has not captured the column tower, while Rachel has. Takes a shot against the recon there, does stop the capture. And does show the pipe seam there. Neo tank deployed on the strong side for Kindle. She has 3 tanks and a Neo tank for artillery anti-air support. Does get a good shot at the infantry unit there. Looks like the column tower will be captured next turn. Pipe seems down to 54% out of 99%. Mech tank. Battlecopter infantry. Does take out the pipe seam entirely now with the artillery on top of the city. Tank does strike tank. Tank hits tank. And it stays out of range of the artillery in the forest, whether it be on purpose or accident. In this case, it will be the same result. Battlecopter, double tank, and infantry. Takes an infantry unit there. Anti-air lurk in the woods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So anti-air's in range of the battlecopter. Tank does go down. We got another battlecopter showed up. Does take out this pipe seam now with mech and artillery. We do have an urban blight available. And Kindle could go for something a little bit stupid. Anti-air could charge forward, hit the battlecopter. Then a unit such as this Neo tank, or maybe even just a regular tank or infantry, could take a massive booster strike onto the battlecopter. Can't say it would be particularly great, but wouldn't be bad either. It would probably be cost effective. Out of curiosity, I'm going to do that as a quick damage calculator. Neo tank to hit battlecopter. Lab's good enough as a column tower. In which the Neo tank would do that much funding damage, we'll see that much, so it would be a good trade, both for power, fair bit more, and if it was a regular tank, a lot less effective, but the Neo tank could eye for a boosted strike onto the battlecopter. Decides to take it out like that way. Boost strike there from the column tower, nuke that infantry. 500 infantry goes down, tank goes down. Not a booster strike, hits multiple infantry units there, hits the infantry unit there. Tank gets a good strike on the recon, does not take it out. Starting to capture that city now. And this is the last property that's still despicably neutral. Pair of battlecopters raffling right there. Neo tank, infantry, and infantry. With 24,000 funds, you can go for the Neo tank every turn. With Rachel's funding, she could go for a bomber every turn. However, the repairs, and not the heightened repairs, are being utilized thanks to that Urban Blight. She almost has enough for covering fire, which remind me, I always forget the order. 3 silos, targets greatest accumulation of foot soldier HP, then unit value, then unit HP. So foot soldier 1 here, Here, nope, definitely over here. So foot soldier here, HP you could easily strike here as well. There's a lot of targets. Could strike here. And value will likely strike this Neo tank. Or maybe this Neo tank. What? Is that a misclick? Look, she almost has enough recovering fire. Lucky Lass, I have to remind myself, improves your luck from 0 to 9 to 0 to 39. So you get 30% additional luck, which can, on average, correlate to additional 15% firepower, which does actually more completely get applied from activating power and superpower and having calm tower. So it's probably closer to 20% average firepower, but that's with the activating power, so it's effectively approximately plus 30% firepower, plus 10% defense for activating the Lucky Lass. This has to be a misclick. But luck damage is good when punching up versus Neo tanks. Let's take a better look at that. Remember, the luck does get multiplied. I guess I can't just show you it while also selecting it properly. Okay, you guys can fully see it even if I go like this. There we go. From 19 to 50%, that is a massive luck range to say the least. And the end result was 4 damage, so rolled between 40 to 50. The Neo tank already took a shot, I'm pretty sure it was a one shot, so it didn't take any damage return. So that was a relatively high luck. Gets another good shot there. When it's at 6 health, definitely has a lower luck. So is this a good Lucky Lass? All that to take out one Neo tank, which I don't know. It's a luck move. For half a power charge, that may have been a good usage of Lucky Lass, thinking about it. When it comes to the covering fire, to the silos was likely to land here, it was planned. One silo was likely to hit the Neo tank. I think Lucky Lass did more damage than the covering fire. Not to mention being half the cost. I think that Lucky Lass was actually pretty good. Right now, my hand is on my head, like leaning down. I just don't know. I just don't know. That may have been a better play. Which sounds heretical. Booster strike there. Here comes a counterattack. And if your opponent is, and this relatively higher skilled game, so your opponent's more anticipating covering fire. So popping a Lucky Lass is something they're not anticipating. Look at that counterattack luck damage, what? That was expected, but the luck damage counterattack, so it's still paying dividends. I think Lucky Lass was actually successfully used. Not some sort of desperate play, but a very well calculated play. Stuff moving around, tank hits tank. We do now have a stealth on the field. Be a great turn for an Urban Blight. Takes out the battlecopter. Urban Blight will strike some infantry. We know about the stealth. We'll hit the 1 HP recon. You monster. We'll hit a bunch of infantry and a stealth and a tank. I do now no Urban Blight, There's a large number of properties on this map. Right now, if Kindle were to pop a high society, she would get plus 78% firepower, which is significant. Takes the battle copter there. Yeah, high society is a good superpower. Just Urban Blight's an excellent power. Stealth there. Don't think it got spotted there. Immediately resupplied by the black boat. Also, he could have not resupplied that turn and resupply immediately start the turn after all the fuel was burned. Which actually may have been the case. Actually, it says 54. I think it has 60 fuel in total, so yeah. Next turn, resupply it. Mega Tank. I didn't see that deployed out last turn. We got Stealth versus Mega Tank. Battlecopter resupplies the Stealth. Now a full 60 fuel. Neo Tank strikes really wants that recon down. We do now have a high sight available. Nothing to engage the Stealth. Black boat can go up the... Nope, there's a bridge in the way. Nope, there's a seaport there. Can make his way up to the shore in order to resupply the Stealth all the way up here. The Stealth is a big threat, but there's nothing that Kindle can do at the moment. She has to pull a fight this turn. High society. Nuking everything else is a possibility dealing with the Stealth. The Stealth is one unit. If it loses all the support, it is... Well, it's only one unit. Ooh. Remember as well as superpower, plus 130% firepower when attacking from urbanized property. Comm tower, power activated there, and plus the 78%. We're looking at about additional 200 something, 200 like 28%, 38% on the artillery there. Easy one shot. Now that is a nuclear artillery from Command and Conquer Generals. Of course, we'll be reliably one-shotting stuff this turn with plus 78% firepower. When I say that, there's a bunch of wounded shots there. That tank will be shelled by the artillery, but it definitely paid for itself by taking another tank. Fighter deploying in the field, eyeing for some air supremacy. I wonder as well, if this was a regular power would not have took the Neo tank in one shot. We do have a covering fire available, which will... One of these missiles will strike the Mega Tank. Foot Soldier here. Covering fire got popped mid-turn. This is Foot Soldier. Accumulation of unit health is likely here as well, and the value probably struck right here, hitting the black boat, Mega Tank, and tank. I don't know. Does that target unit directly? In the cartridge one, I think it had targeted unit directly, but I think Advanced Warfare Web it can target the ground. So either struck right here. Would have been right. Actually, yeah. Right here or right here. Or potentially right around here. Nope, this tank did not get struck, so definitely hit there. Mega Tank's wounded. It's just questionable not if the tank got hit or the infantry unit got hit. Battleship. Why? That's all brown water. It's a blue water ship. It can't go that way. It can go one tile south. Guess this battleship's meant to cover the HQ. Yep, two of them struck here. No, it struck this mountainside, hit the battlecopters and the Neo tanks, keeping the Mega Tank safe. I completely misjudged it. Battlecopter takes out battlecopter, artillery nukes a 1 health infantry unit there. Needs to hunt down the stealth. Stealth for here, 43 fuel. Fighter heading down south. As long as it has to avoid any anti-air, it'll be safe enough. tank, battlecopter, anti-air, and infantry. Battleship scores a kill. Fighter deployed on the field as well. Infantry, infantry. Resupplies the stealth. Stealth is now a full fuel. May resupply to start a turn. The 1 health recon. It's a recon now. Infantry is taking the city, just trying to slowly cover up fundings to draw another covering fire. Artillery, artillery, infantry, and battlecopter. Stealth falls back next to the not airport, to the seaport. Urban Blight can also strike the black boat if it was available. Do now have a rocket down south along the battleship. That's a lot of indirects. Maybe put it behind the mountainside. Put it on top of the city will, of course, give us some ammo. But if you put it right here behind the mountainside or on top of this forest there, it'd be safe. Trying to flip a property here. Both players have 25,000 income. Right now it's 191 versus 206, so Kindle has a half a turn advantage. Tank, tank. Stealth is right here, which can go either way. Does strike the regular tank there, hits another tank there. Another tank goes down in range of artillery. The mega tank has actually been scouted out once this game. The mega tank may have not been spotted yet. We've got a lot of indirects here. Mega tank nukes the anti-air. It was also on top of a city there. How much damage did that mega tank did to an anti-air? That was also on top of a shore. Nearly 300%. I love big numbers. It just gets stupidly large sometimes with Kindle. Fighter, infantry, infantry. Battlecopter hits the mega tank, which didn't do a single point of damage. I don't know how effective that is. You got a bit of a luck roll for that. Lucky Lass, which will be one way to help deal with the mega tank. 6 points of damage from the rocket, I think that was. Or was that from the, So, yep, that was an expected outcome. And that was some artillery getting killed by luck damage. Oof. This Rachel has been using incredibly effective, Lucky Lasses. But right now, a, covering fire over here would be absurdly good. Quite possibly the best Lucky Lasses seen in any game. Neo-tank infantry. And commits a base skip. Do have high side available. 40 units versus 28, so Kiddo has a numbers advantage. Value-wise, Rachel has a slight advantage on the field right now. Rocket strikes infantry, artillery strikes anti-air. That Neo-tank is not in range of any artillery. And this artillery could potentially get another one-shot if it gets too close. Another Neo-tank over here. Kindle right now feels like Rachel's in a really good position. She has so many high-tech units. stealth is still flying about. We got multiple battleship, rockets, artillery. She has a lot of, not to mention a pair of neo-tanks, just a lot of tech on the field. Kindle has a pretty much more standardized force. Yep, looks like just better repositioning here. Another neo-tank by Rachel. We got a rocket up north by Kindle this time. Stalemate situation starting to develop. Kindle has a high society available. Fighter needs some fuel, 29 fuel. Black boat is where again? Way over here at Seaport. Fighter could probably park itself right here behind the mountainside if he's safe enough spot. Another rock here by Kindle. It's the game's definitely slowed down quite a bit. And looks like Rachel's charging way forward, getting some damage on some of these units. At least the infantry unit there, maybe trying to probe an attack. She has a decent indirect line. So charging forward is not going to be great for Kindle. Infantry, engaging infantry is perfectly fine though. Starting to transition the front towards the center right now for Kindle. Another infantry. Another neo-tank. Rachel knows she can't charge forward for her expensive units until the high side is done for. After all, she's seen the previous neo-tank gets nuked. Got now an APC, infantry, and recon by Rachel, saving 15,000 monies. Fighter on both sides for Kindle. What's the unit cap? Is it 50? Unit limit is 50, so Rachel or Kindle is at maximum unit cap. Maybe deleting the 2 health infantry unit here. Charge forward a handful of small units there, freeing some cap for Kindle. Some units does get shelled a little bit there by the rockets. Another stealth by Rachel. Bomber by Kindle. Waiting a lot of units. Infantry unit gets shelled by a rocket. Oh, and that's the end of the replay. Who won? Looks like they decided to call it a draw. This is a bit of a shame. This game was going so good and had to end in a draw. Oh well. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Let's see now. Oops. Delete that. Time for a replay that was submitted to me. Which I do not remember actually who submitted it into me. I want to take a quick look, see who submitted in to me. Yep, I have a good idea. It looks slightly different. Either way. So, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. It's on the south side as Jade Sun Kindle. We got Hesty Fog. I guess this is meant for Fog of War only matchups. On north side as the Black Hole Kindle, we got Rice Muncher. This replay was submitted to me, but I won't reveal who won, or not necessarily who won, but who submitted it to me until the end of the game, because they're usually players submitting replays that they generally win. So, let's get started. Just spoilers. Oh, we also, of course, is a mirror matchup. Let me fix the soundtrack here. Restart themes, loop random songs until turn change, sleeveless loops. So now it should be one theme. Yes, there is. Perfect. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport. Kindle Core provides plus 40% firepower from attacking from urbanized property. Make it pretty nice for retaliation. Early APC there. And APC here as well. So both players going for early APC. Recon. Nice thing about Kindle, I always call her power or day-to-day as a retaliation effect, because you have a unit that's on top of a property, which she just deletes that cruiser down there. Unit on top property gets attacked, you pull that unit back, put another unit on top of it, and retaliate for plus 40% firepower. Let's see how well these players also use their power. I always feel like Urban Blight should be mixed in, not only do damage to your opponent, but also should be also incentivized to go along with doing the massive boost strikes. Is something you should really focus on when going for Urban Blight, rather than spamming out the first chance to get it. We can always wait a turn and see if you can't get any boosted strikes. And probably going to come down who's going to use that ability. This map does offer a decent amount of properties. I think both players will be on about 25 properties if evenly split. Or cities. So High Society will be quite good, as well as Urban Blight still being excellent. We have a tank up here. Recon is somewhat in range, but the Recon, does that Recon have vision? It does not have vision in the tank. Not like this tank could reach it. There's infantry units in the way. Tank down south, Recon get a strike on the Recon, but of course on 3 defense stars and retaliation. Artillery and artillery here do have a battle copter from both these players, so their deployment seems almost like well, it's a mirror matchup, and they're going for a mirror matchup deployment of units. After all, 16 to 2, 2, 2, and 1 versus 2, 1, 3, 1. Slight differences. Get some strikes up here. APC can be pulled back and tank get a good first strike on this tank there, so not great engagement there on that APC. And get a good strike on that tank, and the Recon maybe will come over here and try to trap the tank. Nope, just has parked in the city. Infantry, anti-air, tank. There's a good argument to say not to try to push forward and try to trap that tank there, because you didn't really have vision down here. Fog of War still exists in this game. Looks like south is pulling back a little bit there. We do now have another battlecopter, Recon, infantry, and anti-air. Heard something got picked off there. I'm not sure what it was. I think the cruiser got deleted, didn't it? Infantry, tank, and anti-air. Artillery's out of range. Infantry units here could be, if they push forward, they will get attacked first, so it would be a good idea to not push forward at this exact moment. Artillery's going to shell one of these infantry units there. Tank, anti-air, and tank. Pick some outlying infantry units there. Right now we got 3 tanks in this region. South only has the 1 tank with another tank in reserve. Artillery, tank, battlecopter, and infantry. Get some good strikes. Recon, battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Black Hole Kindle does have 28,000, so she may be going for something expensive this turn. Gets a boosted strike there, nearly 1 shot on the infantry unit there. Tank gets shelled by the tank, or shells the recon, but the artillery is now in range. Neo tank, recon, and infantry. Tank shells the artillery gets shelled, or shells the tank, but I cannot speak. Takes out the tank there, recon gets struck up here. Looks like North Jade Sun Kindle's doing some great work up here. 2 battlecopters engage this 1 battlecopter, but there's an 8 here to be careful about. Does hit the artillery down south, hits the recon. Though we got 3 tanks here, and both these tanks can get first strike. 1 is somewhat protected by an artillery piece. Tank with another tank shortly away. This tank here is on top of the city as well. Tank hits tank. Does avoid this artillery. The infantry unit can still at least get shelled. Artillery is in a good position there to help cover this region. Infantry unit gets shelled, guns down the other infantry unit there. As soon as no urban blight, that infantry may be able to capture that property. Neo tank infantry and infantry. Neo tank on the same side as the other Neo tank. Neo tank takes out the regular tank, but stays out of range of the artillery. Oh, Black Hole 1 has gone for a high society, with her property count currently at 25. She has plus 75% firepower. When attacking on urbanized property, the tank will hit the tank for a truckload. Able to one-shot tanks in open ground. Clean sweep. Of course, the other Kindle here has... Ooh! That firepower bonus should be very nice. Tank. Infantry and anti-air. And here comes the other superpower. Does not one-shot the infantry unit there. Huh. Oh, rolled minimal to horrible bad luck there. That is just unlucky. Right now she has 26 properties, so she does have more firepower bonuses, which means 70% increased firepower. Takes off a good number of infantry units there for one shots. Does not take out the tank on top of the planes. Tank, infantry, and battlecopter. Black Hole Kindle has 20,000 once again. Go for something expensive, like a bomber. Does pull back here. Pulls back at a pretty good opportune time. Battlecopter strikes tank, and tank hits tank. I think one reason why the second Kindle had trouble for superpower is because the opponent had 10% defense, just getting enough to survive on. Infantry, and Neo tank. Battlecopter, recon, infantry, and tank. We got a rocket infantry artillery. A little bit of stalemate starting to develop. Booster strike there on the recon. Tank, infantry, and recon. Infantry takes out the recon, captures the property. This property right here is still despicably neutral, and that appears to be the last property on the map that's still neutral. Recon, tank, battlecopter, and recon. Booster strike down the recon. APC goes down. Recon goes down. Battlecopter goes down. Right now, Jade Sun Kindle is taking a lot of damage this turn. Tank, anti-air, and infantry. This Neo tank could be struck by this Neo tank. Won't be a booster strike, but that should still be very good. Will be out of range artillery. Rocket advancing. Battlecopter gets a good strike there. I doubt Jade Sun Kindle could squeeze out a high society before popping out a strike from Neo tank versus Neo tank. But getting a good amount of power charge at least. And decides to pull back a little bit. Black Hole Kindle maybe will get a superpower activated first. And stealth by the Black Hole Kindle. Black Hole Kindle ends turn with 207,000. Jade Sun one starts with 210, so very even. Tank gets good shots on the recon. Bomber hitting up north. Recon, tank, and battlecopter. Stealth does stealth. Tank hits tank. High society now available for the Black Hole Kindle. Jade Sun Kindle was very close to her own high society, but units are not really in range of each other for a high society. Both sides sort of pulled back a bit there. Tank hits recon. Neo tank migrating up north. Tank hits tank. Got a lot of mobile assets here, though some of these battlecopters are starting to run low on fuel. You now have another APC on the field. Infantry gets shell, tank gets tank. Recon, battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Right now, Jade Sun player may just need more scouting. Does have superior income. Recon's advancing, very nice. It's infantry unit there. Of course, does not see the self there. Neo tank infantry and infantry. Stealth can get a good first strike on something. Does see the infantry unit there. Neo tank double or infantry, and so it's 2,000 funds, likely for another infantry. Chase Sun Toilers advancing. Here takes up Battlecopter. Stealth is on top of a city. Booster strike there. Of course, the artillery can shell that recon for a bit of damage. Infantry, tank, and T-copter. And we've got the High Society by the Black Hole Kindle now, which right now her firepower bonuses are at 24, which means a 72% firepower increase. Easily one shotting that. Takes out the Battlecopter. Shells the recon. Gets the infantry there. A lot of first strikes. Very good. Tank takes out anti-air. Stealth. One shots the Neo tank. And that was an easy one shot. And there's nothing the Stealth can do can be countered out by right now. It's at 55 fuel, could try to be surrounded by weak units. Tanks at this point in time would be not a bad choice, just not a great choice. Because also leaving vulnerable to all the other tanks and medium tanks and Neo tanks. Right now, the other Kindle's bomber is in a good position, but the Black Hole Kindle decides to pull back some units. Just went for a very good cost-effective trade there. In terms of 259,000 versus 226, about full turn advantage. Fighter, and here comes the High Society. Takes out the recon, shells the tank there. Takes out the infantry unit there. Takes out a number of small to lightweight tanks. There's some units up north, takes the Battlecopter as well. So up north is that flank is decimated. Somewhat traps the Stealth there, at least prevents it from ranging the bomber. Bomber falls back. Did a good job keeping other assets away from the Stealth. Both new tanks top of forests. Does take out a regular tank there. And right now the Black Hole Kindle can count how many tiles the fighter is away. Yeah, every turn it passes, add 9 tiles where it possibly could travel. Self heading up north. And looks like that's the end of the replay. Looks like both these players decided to call it a draw. They're pretty even. Right now, 245 versus 246. No clear winner. Though the Black Hole Kindle did make some great plays, but decent enough counterattack to keep them even. The Jade Sun player did have better income, so more likely to win out in the long run. Problem is, the Stealth was still flying about. And they decided to call it a draw. Probably maybe a little bit too early, by the way. There's Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started next replay, I do need to use the restroom. Please give me a moment. My apologies, I am back. Got a drink nearby. And on to the next replay. Let's not do one of Kindle, since I've now done technically 3 Kindles across 2 matches. Let's see, delete that. Adder versus Jess. And let's see, just the... Oh, I was looking at the wrong cursor. I was trying to go to my OBS stream, and I was adjusting. I saw my cursor on the OBS, but it was, of course, on the other screen because it gets picked up by OBS. I am an idiot. I blame Mondays. There we go. That should be pretty good. So let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn north side as the, was this Teal Galaxy? Yep, Teal Galaxy Adder. We got Pesachinic Pizza. I have no idea what type of pizza that is. Whatever it is, it's definitely better than pineapple pizza, because pineapple pizza belongs in hell. On the south side as a Purple Lightning Jess, we got Cacao, I think. My mind's too melted right now. Either way, let's get started. This is a 3-base map, and 1 airport, 1 seaport. You can also go for pipe runners here, and I need to turn on... Whoops, I actually have stuff highlighted. I had a mirror matchup last one, so time to restart themes. Pair of infantry units in there, of course. The boat players do start off with 3 black boats. Got a artillery bite out of there, may try to shell this pipe seam. You can always go for a pipe runner shell it. This map does offer 4 comm towers. You generally have to transport infantry through this way and ground units through this beach line there, sandbar. Tank the infantry and infantry. That is gone for tank. Jess is gone for tank. Infantry, and recon for Jess. T-copter for Adder. So black boat will be loaded up with 2nd infantry from this one. Then this infantry unit is going to be loaded up in this T-copter. Comm tower being captured up. Got a seaport up here being captured. Comm tower down here as well. Battlecopter, infantry, and infantry. Just as battlecopter only gets minus 10% firepower, so if 1 comm tower would be normal. With 2 comm towers, plus 10% firepower, so not horrible. It's not a Drake battlecopter. Not great, but not bad. Infantry, tank, and infantry. Recon, artillery, and infantry. Does shorten the pipe seam there. It does hit the infantry unit down south. Mech, ready to be loaded up in the T-copter. Battlecopter, infantry, and recon. Black boat needs a bit of refuel. It is in on a sea harbor. Tank hits infantry, infantry hits infantry, captures up that city. Black boat over here is also low on fuel. Low fuel. Of course, can make it back to harbor. Infantry, tank, battlecopter, and infantry. Its infantry unit there. Battlecopter does strike the tank for a bit of damage. Its infantry unit from the mountainside, very nice there, and is capturing the central seaport, which you can actually deploy battleships here to provide some coverage, but not necessarily great coverage. But so if one gets well in the field, it can cause some issues. Tank does hit tank. Infantry unit does spot the recon. Recon can charge forward and hit that mech, though it would be shelled, so it won't be a good trade. Mech is 3,000, this is 4,000. Horizontal capture there by Jess, 24,000 income. Both players have 2 comm towers versus 20,000. Battlecopter will strike the battlecopter, gets a nice first strike there. With a power, this battlecopter could range this battlecopter here. Right now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, does not need a power. Tank, infantry, and anti-air. Battlecopter. Picks up battlecopter. Does hit the infantry unit on the mountainside twice. Did not finish it off though. Battlecopter, mech, infantry, and artillery. Does the Intrepid's capture there, very nice. Recon does strike a recon. Of course, Justice recons get plus 10% firepower. Neo tank, infantry, and recon. And so 20,000, now 21,000 income versus 24,000. Tank does strike the recon. Recon does finish off. Starts capturing that property a little bit more. And maybe a good idea not to take a shot against infantry unit there, because it's more likely to be shot down next turn. Mech, battlecopter, infantry, and tank. Recon will hit these unit capturing up. Tank gets hit. Battlecopter in range. Sidewinder is now available. And we could see 1-2 punch of turbocharge or full overdrive. Depends if we need the extra movement and firepower. Anti-air, recon, and tank. Jessen's turn of 136,000 versus 125,000 of adder. Capture property here. Pops a side slip, the power, not the superpower. Go for our next turn another side slip. This of course also gives him plus 10% firepower. Then I mentioned it makes infantry able to sprint a little bit better. His tank, mech hits the tank there. Though these tanks about ready to get showed pretty badly right now. Interrupts this capture. Some of these properties still despicably neutral. Though may be able to secure this comm tower and be up 3 comm towers. The T-copter there, or the B-copter. Yeah, looks like Adder's going to have 3 comm towers, which is going to be quite important. Turbocharge, just got the regular power there, giving her plus 10% firepower or additional firepower for ground vehicles. What does it get increased to plus 40%? Is it plus 10 or plus 20? My mind's not working great today. There she is. Goes from 10 to 20, then 40, so 10% additional firepower. But does, of course, get plus 1 movement for ground vehicles and a resupply of fuel and ammo. Primarily the fuel is an important part. Ammo is just a nice little extra bit. Does not take the battlecopter, so Adder will have 3 comm towers starting next turn. Oh, Jess only have the 1. Capture, does capture comm tower, very good. So capture that property there. You take a shot there. Medium tank advancing. Adder and Jess do have pretty good medium tanks since we can give them just a little extra mobility. Adder in particular. Oh, and artillery gets trapped on the lone infantry unit there. That's gonna be annoying. And that artillery's not in position to protect anything other than perhaps a Neo tank. Nope, it's still with a minimum range Neo tank there. And some of these capturing squads here do have a battle copter rifling right there to engage this tank. Neo tank infantry and infantry. Side slip activated. Does shell take out that tank there. Does take out that unit there. The extra firepower really come in handy from that comm tower. Tank does take out the artillery one shot. How close is that? It was a luck roll, but it was more likely to go in his favor. Started capturing up the city there. Adder has a good number of mechs. He's of course a good CO4 mechs because of the +1 movement range as well for the medium tanks. Battleship. It is out of vision range, could be spotted this turn, but could be too late for a spotting as well. Artillery strikes the tank there, takes the battlecopter. The battleship is now in range of the anti-air at least. Power is activated there, turbocharge. Does spot the battleship, so the recon or anti-air could be shelled. It's the mech one-shotting it. Medium tank, however, in range of the Neo tank. That's going to be quite good for Adder. Then with a power, a mech can also blitz on in to get a good shot onto that Neo tank first. Answer 158 versus 129, so Adder's about a full turn behind. He just needs to get a power going, and there's a pretty good target there. Battleship can shell something. Artillery shells recon. Infantry takes out recon, or does not. That one does. Jordan captures. Medium tank does strike the Neo tank without the power. There's the for the power, which the mech will need to sprint towards the Neo tank. I think he should have got some power charge there. Shelling the anti-air, doing a little extra defensive firepower is not that important. Could have got that for power charge. Anti-air does fall back. Battlecopter falls forward. Mech sprints down to the Neo tank, traps it entirely. And with a little bit double stack across the sandbars, it is pretty well stuck. Now here's next year. Probably be a good idea to hit the artillery, but there is also argument to hit the medium tank. I don't know what will be the best target. Probably actually the artillery, I would say. Trying to flip that comm tower. Infantry unit in range does get spotted. With another side slip, a 9 health infantry unit, or soon to be 10 health infantry unit, can get a shot onto it. Takes the mech as he does free the Neo tank. Get some good shots there. Battlecopter does stop the advancement of interrupt, at least from this one here. This one could get a side slip to slip around. Takes out the anti-air with the battleship. Might as well use the battleship first since it has none of their targets is very limited. In this case, that one. Battlecopter gets a good shot there. Medium tank does hit the anti-air. Neo tank did manage to fall back. Anti-air gets a good strike on that battlecopter. It looks like that comm tower will be captured, but can be re-secured relatively quickly. Battlecopter, infantry, and anti-air. We see another just power this turn. Does take out the medium tank. Anti-air takes out the battlecopter. Does get some good hits there on those artillery. That remaining artillery can strike down a tank or anti-air. Seeing Adder has a pair of battle copters pushing forward. Maybe got to shell the anti-air. But he sees another anti-air here. Does shell the tank. Hits the anti-air. Captures up the starts to capture the city. Infantry, neo-tank, and artillery. Recon push way forward. Anti-air strikes 2 infantry unit there. Neo-tank takes out the unit. Artillery. Oh, there's the neo-tank. Takes out the artillery. Battleship may want to advance forward a tile. Mech will get a good capture here. I just realized something as well. Adder has been maintaining pretty good income. 27,000 versus 20,000. Make that 28. You can easily start recapturing up this comm tower. Takes out the 1 health infantry unit first. Side slip activated. Battleship advanced the entire tower tile. Battlecopter strikes neo-tank. Tank hits neo-tank, knocks it out. Get some good shots on the anti-air, slowly picking apart. Get some more properties. Artillery in position to shell anything that advances towards the comm tower. And actually doesn't have a vision of the artillery right now as well. Overdrive and turbocharge. Do you got the turbocharge activated there? Maybe I'm the 1-2 punch. Tank builds his way forward, gets a good hit there on the tank. Tank hits tank. Recon hits infantry. Anti-air hits battlecopter. Neo-tanks are possibly in range of each other. Let's see, this one will reach out to here. Got a forest in the way. This one could possibly range to the neo-tank depending where it lands. Strike right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So with a power, neo-tank can range neo-tank. Get some good hits over here. 28,000 for 20,000. Adder just needs 5 more property and just wins the game, which is easier than said and done, honestly. So this power could be used to allow the neo-tank to strike the first strike the neo-tank. Artillery shells the black boat, capturing up the comm tower now. Side slip activated there. Neo-tank strikes neo-tank. Thanks to extra firepower and defense there, didn't take as much damage as expected. And also got a high luck roll into return. It's the artillery, picks up some of those units there. Do of course have a bomber by Adder, which can start charging its way forward. Tank, battlecopter, and infantry. Shells the neo-tank there. Was unable to do anything significant to that neo-tank. Plus instant defense from Adder's power is being very useful right now. Does take out that neo-tank there. Uh, 10 capture progress remaining there. Tank, recon, tank. 1 health infantry units fall back. They're just basically tank traps at this point. Or I should just say fog of war traps, more like. Mech, infantry, neo-tank. Like I said, it's a fog of war trap. A lot of tanks and recons up here. Bomber has a couple counters to this region, one of which could be in range of overdrive at this moment, barring the fact there's a unit in front of it, which could be cleared out by another unit. And I just realized just as a battleship right there. Wait, battleships? Nope, they're just out of range of each other. You need to be Jake or Grit in order to range each other. Tank, battlecopter, infantry, and infantry. Capturing a property there. He knows about one anti-air. Bomber could get a first strike onto it. Does not decide to go for it. In this situation, you know there's two anti-airs in the region. So it's definitely a good call. And has a good core of tanks, battlecopters, and neo-tank forming on up. Recon way forward, 27,000 versus 20,000 income. Get some good hits there. Mech Force has nothing to do or join capture with it. But this 500 unit could be showed by artillery. We also got a full health anti-air in the region. Resupplies the battlecopter. Even resupplied the black boat a little bit there. Black boat on top of HQ under siege. Mech is the first strike on recon. Probably a good idea to stop capturing. For that, good first strike there. Minor repositioning's up there. So units start slowing advancing. Front lines being drawn. Does get some good strikes. Artillery does show the black boat. And a bit of a clean sweep of the remaining infantry up there. Those guys stuck around for much longer than they should have. Just did recapture one property, though that may change relatively soon, but not right now. Oh, black boat gets trapped, has infantry unit sword in the back of it. Anti-air does take out 4 health battlecopter, shells the 2 infantry one. No, tank and battlecopter both in range here. Tank should probably get a strike on the anti-air while the battlecopter takes a strike on the artillery. We have another battlecopter up here though. Try and flip those properties back. Does not interrupt the capture. There we go, stops it. It did interrupt it, I should say. Had 2 capture marks remaining with 1 health. Black boat does get destroyed. Side slip is available, and as well as a turbocharge. Does strike the anti-air and artillery. Does show the recon there with a battleship. Drops off the infantry there. Tank hits recon, spots a whole lot of stuff. Does not spot the artillery inside the forest. Side slip now activated there. Tank hit takes out the 1 health recon. Gets a great shot there. Managed to finish off that battlecopter. Remember, Adder has 3 column towers. I am curious about that though. How close was that? It was guaranteed to kill. Without the power, it would not have been guaranteed to kill. Just now has an overdrive available. Does get trapped there. Recon does hit the artillery. Tank. Tank, battlecopter, and infantry. Adder does have a pretty good amount of funds on the field with just a day-to-day income. She's about a turn, maybe turn and a half behind. After this turn, probably a turn behind at the worst. Does pick off a number of tanks there. Hits the infantry unit there and there. Looks like Adder's chance for a capture victory is no longer on the table. Tank, anti-air, tank. Both players have now the same income. But Adder still is about a full turn advantage. Bomber takes out the battleship. You sunk her battleship. Sorry, I had to do that. Yeah. Anti-airs are in range of the bomber. at least from one hit. I suppose with power, maybe it get double tapped. Tank, anti-air, infantry. Does have another bomb in reserve though. Yep, with a power, the bomber can get double tapped, though with a power, one anti-air may be enough. Does take it out. Does strike the black boat, takes out the black boat. Do so Adder's battleship still in range. I know Adder's battleship is actually been very successful. Can't say it's been cost effective, because battleships are stupidly expensive. Side slip now activated there. Shows the tank there, takes it out with the anti-air. Medium tank takes out tank. In range for artillery, does spot the artillery. Anti-air strikes anti-air. Battlecopter strikes artillery. Infantry spots tank. Bomber takes out tank. Battlecopter takes on artillery. We got a medium tank which can take on one of these neo tanks, while the other neo tank can strike the other neo tank. It won't be too difficult for her to get another power charge for a power. Adder's going to capture some more properties. This one's 4 capture progs remaining with 6 health. This is, of course, 15 capture progs remaining. Anti-air takes up battlecopter. Tank's taking out tank. Artillery strikes neo tank. Medium tank strikes neo tank. Does have access to a power. Softs up neo tank. Neo tank hits neo tank. So got the bomber flying about, 4 health anti-air on the field. And Teal still has a good number of battlecopters ruffling about as well. 1 full health anti-air, 1 4 health anti-air. Full versus 4. Battleship gets another kill there. Tank hits anti-air, does take out the anti-air there. And artillery is in range of the black boat. Adder may be going for an HQ capture current rate. Bomber takes on the medium tank, does not take on the neo tank. 3 off neo tank to take it down. Decides to take on the artillery. Takes out the tank there. Attacks the neo tank twice with battlecopters. Gets the tank behind. Anti-air gets a good shot there. Artillery here is we're going to remain alive. Stops the capture there. We do have an overdrive available. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, and artillery. And do now have a turbocharge activated for Jess. Shells a neo tank. Tank hits tank. Neo tank hits regular tank, hits the anti-air, hits the bomber. Adder has a sidewinder now available. Neo tank takes out Neo tank. Instead of 130,000 for 167. Battleship looks like it's out of range. Everything could move 1 tile downwards. Side slip now activated. It's the anti-air. It's the anti-air. It's the anti-air. It's the anti-air. I'll take it out there. Hits the Neo tank. Hits the Neo tank. Hits the infantry. Hits the Neo tank. Interrupts the capture. He's still on 3 column towers. This has been very important. While income's been evening out, the Adder just simply having superior firepower. Well, Jess is an Adder. Yeah, Adder just gets plus 30% firepower across the board, while Jess just gets plus 20% across her ground vehicles. So you got the battlecopter shells the tank. No, got a turbocharge there by Jess. Takes on the battlecopter, hits the capturing infantry unit there. Infantry tank. Shells the tank there, hits the infantry unit there. Picks off a number of infantry here, picks off the wounded tank. Neo tank takes out the Neo tank. And his Neo tank is out of range of the artillery, though this 5 health tank will get shelled. Capturing a regular city there. Battleship's actually getting low on ammo. Stealth, mech, and infantry. Jess is getting pretty far behind the moment. Getting to the realm of double field, army on the field behind. It's 114 versus 185, severely behind now. Side slip activated there. Hits the tank there, hits the tank there, hits the anti-air. Capturing some cities. Tank hits tank. And stealth does push way forward. Tank, anti-air, and infantry. Shells the Neo tank for a bit of damage. Anti-air does take out battlecopter, hits the capturing infantry unit there, but will probably be shelled by the artillery, and decides to resign. That's Angrid saying, thanks for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started on the next replay, I do need to use the restroom again. Please give me a moment. My apologies, I am back. I have time for one last replay tonight. Andy versus Jake. No, I don't even remember the last time I've done this matchup. That seems pretty good. So, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Small on bottom right side as the even blacker hole Andy, we got Steezer. Small on top left side as the brown desert Jake, we got Cardo 1111. When it comes to this map, it is a 3-base map, 2 airports, 1 comm tower. 2 comm towers actually. So, and there's actually 32 property capture victories, so both players going to be hovering around, what, 22,000, 23,000 income, assuming it's 50-50. So, you probably won't see double battle copter all too often. Probably at most once a game, probably per side, or once we'll probably see double battle copter. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Andy Corso he keeps units alive, you can simply pull them back to repair. There's a lot of shores here for recons, that's be very nice. Jake, of course, additional firepower on planes. So these, most of the time we see Andy versus like a bunch of global damage, but in this case, not the case. So as long as Andy's just has good unit preservation, you can simply pull it back, get them repaired, and push them forward. Recon advanced pretty far forward. He could charge forward, take a shot. That was an interesting move there. I thought he was going to charge forward, like right there. But the tank will get a good strike there. That recon gets sacked. That was a bad move there, looks like. The chance of a tank popping out hitting it was very likely. Recon, tank, and infantry. So nice early victory there by Jake. Battlecopter on the field. Artillery, infantry, and mech. Oops, does get trapped there a little bit, but the tank needed to be on that spot to take a shot against the recon. Oof. I guess he should have moved in the forest and then went right there. Because if he would have got trapped in the forest, then he could have got a shot there for the tank, but he couldn't. So that was a bad trap. Takes a shot there, but now he should be in range of the tank, which was... and he's going to lose another recon, to say the least. Continue spawning there with the other infantry there. Tank will get a free shot, and this time it will be a one shot. Does have 2 compars, so it's going to be pretty liable one-shotting recons. Tanks lurk in the woods. We also got a tank lurk in the woods. We also got a tank here lurk in the woods. Does get trapped there. Since tanks down south, the recon here could... Nope, the recon can't receive a shot this turn. Does hit that infantry unit there twice. Tank pulls back into the woods. Infantry, battlecopter, tank, and commits a base skip. Does a good shot there. Catches some of these properties. Interrupts 2 captures. Very nice. Tank, anti-air, infantry. Jake's anti-air is a little out of range. Battlecopter can probably get another free shot on in, maybe onto this tank down south. Because this anti-air would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Would be out of range if it takes a shot from the city. Oh wait, no. It would be in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it would be in range. No, it wouldn't. My mind's melted. And thing as well, when it comes to beatdown, does not give any of your vehicles +1 movement range. His superpower will give him +2 movement range, but his both his power and superpower only provides +1 indirect maximum range. Tank, infantry, and battlecopter. Hits the infantry unit twice. Hits the infantry unit. Interrupts the capture. Artillery advance the woods, so it gives them the anti-air a bit of coverage. Does get trapped once again. Recon, anti-air, infantry, and battlecopter. Mech gets in the mounted side, ready to ambush the recon and tank. Good hits there. Hits the tank. Anti-air is a bit far away. Both players now have the power. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, and infantry. Andy's more reliant on his hyper upgrade than hyper repair, but it all depends how much damage you need repaired on up and how they're spread across all the units. Tank, tank, tank. It's the capturing unit up north. Jake's right now is at 22,000, covers 20,000, so he has a slight advantage. Battlecopter in range of the battlecopter. Anti-air could get a good shot there as well. The battlecopter could take a relatively safe shot from this mounted side, though the anti-air does have shores it can utilize there. Recon does take out Recon, start capturing the city. Does take out the battlecopter there with the anti-air. Need tank, recon, and infantry. Good shot on the anti-air. Battlecopter takes a shot against the anti-air because he's going to try to go for hyper upgrade. Goes from 105 to 111, so repairs of 5,000, 6,000 damage, which is not great. But does get +1 move range and +10% firepower. Battlecopter, infantry, and tank. We could see a block rock. We are seeing a block rock. All of those ground vehicles get +2 movement range. His planes bonuses goes from 10% to, was it 40%? Yep, 40%. And as well as indirects get +1 maximum range, which that was already in range of the tank there, and it's non-planes with an extra firepower bonus. Tank will strike tank with a firepower bonus. Anti-hero, 2 health anti-hero managed to finish it off. Hits the infantry unit there. Artillery strikes regular tank. Infantry hits, gets knocked down. Battlecopter hits tank there with a boosted strike. It will help overcome the extra defense of his own HQ. Good shot there. Needs to crack open this tank so the anti-hero can strike the battlecopter. Interrupts the capture. Stops the capture. Tank does take out that unit there. Battlecopter, good damage there onto the battlecopter. Anti-air, recon, and tank. Jake's in turn of 128 versus 83, so has about 2 turn advantage right now. Takes out battlecopter, hits the infantry unit twice. Mech gets a good strike there on the anti-air from the mountainside. But now Jake is lacking anti-air to deal with this battlecopter here. Has a good number of tanks involved in medium tank. But his anti-air pod needs to start making its way down south and not build another one to go down south. Tank hits anti-air. Finish off the mech. Medium tank advanced way forward, takes out infantry there, but is in range of an artillery piece. Oh, this is going to be a good turn for Andy next turn. That medium tank's going to go down. Artillery can strike it, then finish off a battlecopter. Or not necessarily finish off, just get some good damage onto it at least. Power is now available for Andy. Tank, and artillery. Recon strikes infantry. Medium tank does fall back to HQ. Right now, Jake's at 21,000 income. Andy's at 22,000 income. We do have 3 properties that looks like still despicably neutral. Make that now 23 versus 20. Recon gets struck. Artillery, infantry, and battlecopter. Recon strikes infantry. Takes the battlecopter. Recon, battlecopter, infantry, and infantry. Does hit that infantry unit twice, kept that neutral property up north, takes out the recon. Medium tank will be at 8 health next turn, so it can get a good strike onto the artillery, and this actually may be a good idea for a beatdown, because then the artillery will be arranged in Neo tank. Block rock if possible, but this is definitely a good turn for a beatdown, I would say. Having the artillery hit the Neo tank and then follow up with the medium tank. And here comes the beatdown. The rare beatdown. Shells the Neo tank for a severe amount of damage. Gotta finish that off. Hyper upgrades available. Hits the tank there, hits the infantry unit there, hits the tank there. Medium tank takes a shot from the platform. Hits the infantry unit there in range of some artillery now. Does spot the artillery now. Battlecopter strikes battlecopter with a boost strike from the planes. However, hyper upgrade is going to restore it quite a bit. And oh, how bad luck is he getting with all this? I needed max luck roll on that. And when it comes to battlecopter, come on now. Yeah, I think my mouse is double clicking. Oops. Wait. Did I somehow kill it like that? Oh, that was a bad luck roll. Recon tank. Hyper upgrade goes from 93 to 105, so restores 12,000 monies. Battlecopter gets good strike there. Now all of the units get +1 movement range and +10 firepower, as well as course 5 health recovery. Capturing up multiple cities this turn. Tank to the split shotgun anti-air. And it's turned with the exact same amount of money funding on the field. Of course, Jake's turn is player 2, so you gotta add his funds to this value, so he's effectively has 1 turn advantage. Problem is, his turn doesn't have much income, 25,000 versus 19. And Andy's going to try to capture up 3 more properties. Tank will strike artillery. There's a good pile of artillery here. Does shell and hit that artillery quite a bit. That's right, he maybe got to try to rush out a hyper repair with all the damage he's sustaining. Most of these properties will be captured next turn. This one was interrupted. Black boat down 6 fuel, and of course you will need a APC to get that refueled. Andy's right now is at 36 fuel, so it looks like Jake's been using his black boat far more often. Shells the medium tank, shells the regular tank. One off artillery might as well get a shot off there, or pull it back to the forest, so just wait till the superpower before pushing forward. It'd probably actually be a good idea to just pull it back, hide in the forest, and let the superpower eventually come. Because one of artillery is not going to do much. Tank, infantry, battlecopter. Pulls back to the city to get some normal health recovery. I'd say pull it off with 5 health. Artillery could shell the infantry. Battlecopter strikes battlecopter. 2 capture procs remaining, so it's not interrupt there. Right now, AD has 27 out of 32 properties. He's good shots there. Anti-air, recon, infantry. A lot of stuff is wounded on the field. Catches up with the property, takes out the battlecopter, takes out the regular tank. Tank hits tank. Tank hits a recon. Tank hits, or battlecopter hits a tank. No anti-air in this region. Jake's been struggling on anti-air this entire game, seems like. He has enough for a block rock. 116 versus 111. But it feels like Andy's in good position, though Jake has very good presence here. The problem is income 28 versus 18. That is horrible. 2 properties got flipped back, which is important, to say the least. Drunk's going for another one. Gotta finish off those units. Battlecopter's falling on back. Black boat for fuel. Anti-air, tank, infantry. Hits the recon. Infantry, neo-tank infantry. Recon spots not a whole lot of stuff. We could see a block rock, which also allows him to shell this regular tank there. Takes out the battlecopter. He does spot these 2 regular tanks here. Battlecopter, infantry, recon, and anti-air. Trying to go for that column tower. It is in range of artillery piece and as well as infantry unit there, so that capture would not be successful. Recon, infantry, and bomber. So Andy figured out what an airport was. hyper upgrades now available. In other words, take no prisoners, or else the prisoners will multiply like rabbits. Battlecopter strike battlecopter. Try to finish off the 4 health infantry and does not take it out there. Finish off the 9 health infantry. The regular tank here is low on fuel, down to 22 fuel. Sort of realized it's sort of cut off over here. If I spin it out that way, there we go. Now it should be a bit better. Sorry, I missed that. Tank, and infantry. Hyper upgrade goes from 140,000 even, which a lot of his units do not have even health. In fact, almost all of them have odd health. To a nice even 147,700. Tank hits infantry twice. Tank hits infantry. Of course, got some potential block rock tanks here. Does like a battlecopter. Neo tank may advance too far forward and get struck by a lot of stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, Neo tank's out of range even from block rock. Battlecopter, infantry, recon, infantry. Oh, looks like Black Boat has sunken to the bottom of the shore. Block rock. Recon advance way forward to shell the anti-air or the tank here of the improved range. Anti-air takes off battlecopter, shells the anti-air. Does spot the Neo tank. Neo tank can't range the medium tank with the obstructions. Oop, gets trapped there. Of course, he knew those units were there. He just wanted to make sure he found it. Congratulations, you were successful at finding it. Instead of 145,000, it starts for 123. 25,000 for 21,000 income. ATR takes up battlecopter. We've got 2 anti-airs here to engage the bomber. Bomber nukes the medium tank, shells the anti-air, hits the anti-air. This anti-air is undetected, which means you can get a good strike there onto the bomber. Triple tanks by Andy. Anti-air gets struck. Battlecopter hits tank. Tank hits infantry. Tank hits recon. Tank hits infantry. Shells tank. Nope, that was a battlecopter struck it. The artillery can shell artillery. Anti-air gets a great strike there on the bomber. Instead of 128,000 versus 100,000. Takes the bomber. With a beatdown, the anti-air could be ranged by the artillery, but there's a tank and anti-air to finish it off either way. Gets trapped. Neo tank takes out that unit there. Beatdown will not be a ranged Neo tank. Battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Jake's bomber heading down south. Artillery and battlecopter, anti-air, and infantry. Overall, just did a better repositioning. Nothing too crazy last turn. Andy almost has enough for superpower, which is a number of wounded units there, like the 1 health bomber. Yep. So that thing could be restored with 6 health. Tank, anti-air, and battlecopter. Repositioning from both sides. Tank, battlecopter, infantry, and infantry. Neo tank takes out that unit there. Battlecopter strikes that unit there. We could see hyper upgrade, which there's going to be good health restoration this turn, or next turn. You can pull the anti-air off, maybe put it inside of a forest there. 5 health, make it up to full health of the hyper upgrade. Size of weight, the anti-air on top of that city there. I disagree with that. Medium tank, infantry, and T-copter. That's just wasting money at this point. Bomber nukes the Neo tank. Spots that wounded anti-air now as well, which he needs that anti-air to take, and takes the bomber there. Ooh, Andy's made a huge misplay. This maybe what dooms Andy. He lost the bomber, he lost the anti-air, he lost the Neo tank. That may be a game-losing turn for Andy. He could have got so much momentum, but he did not. Cost hyper upgrade now goes from 125,000 to 130. That could have been tripled, if not quadrupled that amount, if he would have popped the last turn. Takes out the bomber at least. So both sides no longer have a bomber. Tank, and anti-air. Gets trapped by the anti-air. Trying to flip some properties. Jake is at 19,000 income for 27. He's been behind income this entire game. He's starting to flip some properties, and this time's going to go a bit better for him. Down south, there's quite a bit of stuff from the fight, but a battlecopter and tank. A couple tanks, all he really needs. Battlecopter, double tank, and infantry. That's exactly what needs to stabilize that region. Battlecopter does strike the artillery, but that's another anti-air in range. The artillery just needs to get off of that tile, to say the least. With a beatdown, he could, or block rock in this case, he will be able to range this tank here. And the other one could strike the infantry unit. This is probably a good turn for a block rock. +2 allow him the range of recon, or this tank here. Yeah, this is a good turn for a block rock. Block rock has been utilized. Strikes the unit, strikes that unit there. Recon hits tank. Tank hits tank. I think this game winning a push by Jake. I didn't see this other tank blitzing over here. Does take out the battlecopter there. They could use the tank, the artillery to shell that recon, finish it off. It's the infantry unit there. Battlecopter, tank, double infantry. It's worth 124,000, though Andy still has ahead by 135. But feels like Jake's in a really good position right now. Right now my money's on Jake. There's an anti-air and medium tank here. Couple tanks. There goes that unit. There's battlecopter with open sea, so a battlecopter can hit it from open sea and be perfectly safe from anti-air. So I'm gonna flip some properties, multiple properties, 22 versus 24. And there's actually a possible threat to the HQ. We've got two battlecopters here, one anti-air in the region. Battlecopter strikes the anti-air. Does not take it out there. And you can't leave it behind like that. It is versus Andy. A lot of stuff just getting... Oh no. Next turn will be a good turn for hyper upgrade. So much of stuff just barely stayed alive. Should have probably focused down units one at a time, even if there was overkill. Andy needs to get the hyper upgrade out because there's a lot of massively wounded stuff over here. Needs what? Another 7,000 more charge, so needs to inflict 14,000 damage. There's half of that. Was able to recover a good chunk of that. I'm pretty sure this, yep, that tank's at full health. Does get trapped there, hits the battlecopter there, tank hits tank. This may be where Andy turns the game around. Strikes there, he's up to 143. Neo tank infantry. Captures some properties, takes out battlecopter. We'll need a beat down to hit this tank there. Maybe he's going to try to get as much power charge before popping beat down. I see. Throwing the towel? He's making a lot of low yield engagements. Bomber, infantry, infantry, infantry. Does not. And instead of 190,000 versus 140, he's pretty far behind there. Though right now, 23 versus 23 properties, so income's finally equal. Block rock's now available. Bomber is going to be useful dealing with that medium tank. May hit the anti-air first. Let's move on anti-air. Got this wounded ones back here. Neo tank advancing. Anti-air is in range of the battlecopter for block rock. This feels like a block rock turn to me. Bomber can range the anti-air. Knocking that out will give him quite a bit of room to breathe with. Block rock is now active. Anti-air takes out battlecopter. Tank hits tank. Does not finish off the said tank. Captures the property there. Artillery in range. His infantry unit there. Spots the Neo tank. Artillery enters the forest, which may have not been spotted there. Bomber takes out anti-air. Recon capturing infantry unit that's on top of the HQ with 11 capture progress remaining now. And there's a joint capture there. This is actually a big threat. Bomber there. He needs something to punch and hit that infantry unit there. Next turn will be down to 8 with a joint capture. Hyper repair to make it go from have 6 maybe? Hyper repair and hyper upgrade may be utilized to help with the capture progress. Gets on top of the HQ. Takes out the infantry unit there, but in range of... No, the artillery is not in range of the Neo tank. It's within the minimum range. Blocks the path there. T-copter and battlecopter blocks the path. He has no anti-air there. That's going to be HQ capture. You need to take out a 5 health anti-air. There's a medium tank in the forest, so yep, that's going to be game. And he does resign there. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As mentioned beforehand, that shall be my last replay tonight. So everyone, thank you for watching, have a good evening, and get some good rest.